Welcome to North of 60. My name is Heidi Schweighofer. Today I have my friend Jill Rango on the show, and many of you know her. Many of you have seen her from a previous visit in the show back in 2019. And I want to tell you this unequivocally. The balance classes that I have taken with Jill since I met her have truly changed my life. I am not afraid to look forward instead of down when I'm walking. I feel such a better control of my body and where I am in space. And after a big fall, it's really scary to start all of that up again. And Jill, for me, has been the best thing that ever came into my life after I fell and broke my nose.
Oh, gosh.
So, Jill, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. That's such a nice accolade there.
It's completely true. I know you have all this experience, and I should have gone through your introduction,
okay.
But you really are, you've been a personal trainer, you've been certified with the American Council on Exercise. Mm-hmm. You've done so much with older adults. That's been your main goal, has it not, with your training?
It certainly has become my passion, for sure. I didn't start out that way. When I think of, I started 35 years ago in the times of, thong tights and leg warmers. And and jumping around and doing all those kinds of things. But, as fitness does progress, and as I've gotten older, I kind of leaned that direction, and that's what I really like. What I really like about the older adult population is it's not so much about aesthetics anymore. It's much more about function.
Yeah.
Will I be able to pick up my grandchild, or get out of my chair, or get off the toilet, or whatever it might be? So that's
get up when I fall.
Yeah, and get up when I fall. So it's just becomes a part of living.
Okay.
So, yeah.
You know that with COVID, most people, at least my age, are not going to gyms anymore.
Correct.
We had to stop our classes, unfortunately,
Yeah.
because it was going to have to go inside with the cold weather. Mm-hmm. But I've been maintaining my walk.
Good.
And all my friends I see out there, it seems like floods of people now
Yes.
are walking at least a mile a day. Uh-huh. Is that enough, really?
It's wonderful for so many things. Cardiovascularly, for a stress reliever, your heart and lungs, and is what I mean by cardiovascularly. But there's no overload to walking. Your body is, you need strength to walk, but it's not enough to increase or maintain your strength. Muscles have to have some kind of a stimulus, some kind of an overload in order to get stronger. And so, naturally, as we age, we lose some of that strength. Part of that, though, comes from the fact that we're not doing as much as we used to do. We're not getting down on the floor. We're not climbing steps. We're not doing any heavy yard work. There's a lot of things that we start to give up that were part of our strength routine, even, beyond going to the gym. So, walking, like I said, I'm not. It's wonderful. It should be part of everybody's, exercise program, but it's not a strength exercise. So,
what are your with your senior population? What are your goals?
Great question. So, what my goals are to maintain mobility, maintain movement. So strong enough to do the kinds of things that that anyone would like to do. Maintain independence. If your strength goes, your independence goes. Strong enough to maintain your balance. Strength is the basis of all balance. It's the strength of all, or it's the base of all coordination. So balance, coordination, walking, and then doing the things that you need to do, because eventually, if it goes a long time without being challenged, you lose the ability to do your regular activities of life, and that's nobody wants that. So,
and we see people in the 70-year-old who's been moving and exercising and is a strong, healthy 70-year-old and the one who decided to retire at 62 and pretty much stay in the chair. What
That's
a
exactly
difference.
right. Yeah, what a difference. I just joined a group of hikers, and the leader of the group is 79. And it's amazing what he does, and he does it 3 times a week at least. And everybody in the whole group is, advanced age, but he's there every time leading, and it's pretty amazing.
Excellent. Excellent.
It's a use it or lose it world. That's not a Jane Fonda thing. It's a if you're not gonna use the muscles, they are going to get weaker. That's all there is to it.
Well, what I'd like to do today with you is to have us learn a 15 to 20 minute routine that we can do at home. I don't have any special equipment. I do have, stuff in my kitchen. I have, but nothing that requires me to go to the store and buy a special anything. And show me the routine, show our audience the routine, and let's see if we can do that at home until we can start going to the gym or your class, which hopefully will be starting up soon.
Sounds great.
All right.
Very good. Let's do it.
I'm here with Jill Rango for part 2 of our visit today, and we're going to run through a routine. I will be the guinea pig of a good routine that we can learn as seniors at home with absolutely no special equipment at all. All right, Jill,
Excellent.
I'm ready.
Okay, so just to kind of let you know what's coming up, the way that I put these exercises together is much more based, rather than saying, okay, we're going to work the quads, we're going to work the biceps, rather than isolating muscles, we're really going to look more at movements that we do every day, okay? So which involve multitudes of muscles, which is better. We get more bang for your buck. So the very first thing that we're going to do is basically they call it a bend and lift, okay? Which to most people, a bend and lift is a squat, all right? So we're going to actually start you in the chair. Just while she's getting ready, to let you know, as you're doing these on your own, I want you to try to do 10 to 12 repetitions, 15 at the most. And the other part of that is that I'd like to see you run through these progression of exercises twice. I think that once you get familiar with them, you might even be able to run through them 3 times, okay? So for this very first exercise, I like to call it the potty squat, which means, women all know, men may not, but women all know that when we potty squat, we hover, okay? So the first thing that happens when you squat is your rear end comes back. Also, your knees bend at the same time. If you do not bend your knees at the same time, you're going to end up with rocking back on your heels, and that's not going to work. A lot of people, when they squat, also tend to let their knees fall in because their hips aren't strong enough. So today, and maybe you can get a ball like this at any dollar store. The cheaper the better. Okay, not even those big playground balls. So I'm going to put it between Heidi's knees, and I'm going to ask her to, with her arms across her chest, so she's using just her body, to stand all the way up. Good. Okay. Now, as you sit, I want you to go down slowly, stick your bottom back, weight in your heels. That's really important. Okay, you've got a light in your chest, so you want to shine it forward.
I am certainly on
right
my
there.
heels.
Okay, good, and then stand all the way up. See how nice and straight her back is, okay? So when we sit, we don't want to curve our back. We want to put those hips back, bend the knees all at the same time, and she's doing a great job of that. Go ahead and stand up. Very good.
It's interesting to do it with the ball because it forces my legs to be straight.
Yeah, and it also activates more of your glute muscles, your butt muscles.
Okay.
So if anybody's ever done a bridge in an exercise class, this is very much like a bridge. Now, in order for us to get better strength gains, there has to be some kind of a stimulus, something beyond just her body weight that actually causes the muscles to get stronger, okay? So I mentioned in the beginning. So I've got a bucket here. You could put anything you want in the bucket. You could put bird seed. I happen to put sand because I just needed sand for something. You could put water in it, but it could be a little messy. Something that, and you can fill it as high or as low as you want. I'm guessing that I've got enough sand in here today that's probably close to 10 pounds, okay?
So 10 pounds is what you're aiming for with even soil.
It can be anything. And think about that, You pick up a 10-pound bag of potting soil. I had a woman one time that I trained that all she really wanted to be able to do was to pick up a watermelon out of the bins in the store, and we just practiced picking up a watermelon.
Wonderful.
It's great. So go ahead and sit down, okay? So I'm going to start you there. Go ahead and grab the handle, okay? Do exactly the same thing as you did before. Nice job. Extend your hips. Go ahead and stand. Stand.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, with the weight.
With the Come on, bucket.
There you go. Okay. So I want you to go down nice and slow. Show the folks what it looks like. Weight in your heels. See how her knees are bending at the same time as her hips. Her back is nice and flat. She's looking forward. And then she stands up. I'm going to have you do it again, Heidi. As she stands up from here to here, she's very deliberately thinking about squeezing her butt cheeks together.
And you can really tell
squeeze, okay?
And it's not hurting my knees at all.
Good. And that was one of the main things with Heidi's got a shaky knee, and we want to make sure. What typically goes wrong with people as they're doing any squat like that, two different things. One is their knees come way out here, and that's a lot of shearing force on your knees. The other thing, and I think I didn't point that out, but notice how close to her body she had the bucket. So anytime that you're going to pick something up, you don't want to be picking it up out here. You want it to be right over so that you can use your strong hips and butt to get there. So anyway, next one I'm going to actually describe. So if you want to trade me places, you can use a chair for this if you need it. If you don't, it's a progression not to use the chair. But I do want to show you the proper form for a lunge. So when do you use a lunge? You use a lunge to get in the car. You use a lunge to walk. You use a lunge to climb stairs. You use a lunge anytime you're reaching for something up high or reaching for something down low. This is all a lunge position. Your feet are split. So I'm going to show you a proper lunge. So I always place my front foot close to the chair if I'm using one. Back foot, don't be afraid to step back nice and big because you need space for your body to lower right between your feet. So again, I'm going to show you the wrong way first. I see this all the time. Now, what am I doing? I'm bending my front knee, but not my back one. So they have
And you're leaning forward tremendously.
Yeah. And so what you want to think about doing, more of the weight is on the front leg. I'd say it's probably a 70-30, okay? But you want to lower yourself down by bending both knees at the same time. Sometimes I actually have classes. I'm not going to ask you to do that, but to put your knee all the way down because this is a functional exercise to be able to get up off the ground that way. So that's also a lunge. But for what I'm wanting you to do right now, I want you to do 10 to 12 repetitions, down and up. Notice my knee does not go past my toe. If I want to make it harder, I can put my arms across my chest, or I can put my arms up over my head. So you can always progress it, but holding on to something will also save your knees a little bit. So
does it matter how low you go to start especially?
No. The lower you go, the more muscle fibers you integrate, okay?
Okay.
But you don't want to do more at the risk of injuring yourself, okay?
So if you can only go down bending both knees a little bit, you don't have to try to go to the floor.
This much, okay? Notice what I've got more emphasis on that front leg. This will be just fine.
I can do that.
Okay?
Okay.
So,
I'm not going to right now.
Okay, but that's okay. Okay, so that would be the reaching thing. Next thing that we do in everyday life is pushing, okay? And so the tried and true pushing exercise is a push-up. The more parallel that you get with gravity, the harder that it is. So think about it. You can start at the wall. I'm going to have Heidi do that. So you're going to turn, put your hands in the wall about shoulder height. Feet, more that your feet are behind you, the harder that it is. And you don't want to get a saggy back. So you're going to zip those pants that are slightly too small.
I have to always remember that.
Yep, and lower just like a board. You're fused that way. Now, it's amazing. It just doesn't look very hard, but it's hard, okay? But we're going to make Heidi go just a little more, okay, and have her do that same thing, just a few repetitions. So, you know, a good push-up starts with a good plank, and we'll talk about that later.
This is a plank.
That's a plank, and then you're going to lower yourself however far you can go and back up, okay? Good, good. Nice teeter-totter, okay? That's good.
All right.
And then I'm not going to have her go to the floor, but that would be the next progression, is to put your hands on the floor, and you'd be totally parallel with the ground, okay?
All right.
So that's our pushing exercise. Next, we have to do a pulling exercise to balance that out. And we're going to go back and use our heavy bucket again. Heidi, I'm going to demonstrate for you once, and then I want you to do it. I've got most of my weight over my legs, not over my hands, but I do want you to hold on to something, just to give your spine a little extra support. This is called a one-armed row, and it's just that. You row the boat. What you really want to feel is your shoulder blade come in towards your spine, okay? Obviously, when you're doing this yourself, you're going to do 10 to 12 on one side and then turn around.
My knees.
You can do whatever you want with your legs, whatever feels comfortable. Good. Keep going. So she's got a nice flat back. I want you to bring this a little closer to your body.
All right.
And the idea here is that she's trying to move that shoulder blade closer to her spine with each pull. Oh. You also don't need to twist your body. Just come up to where. Just a little bit. Yeah, that's good.
All right.
Okay. The twisting's not bad, but it's not necessary. All right.
This is a challenge.
Okay.
That is a challenge.
And again, you have to have some overload in order for it to.
Now, would I do that on the other side?
Yes.
So do 10 on this side, 10 on that side.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Very good. Okay, so that's our push, that's our pull. Next thing that's a functional exercise is rotation. We rotate, even though people will say to me, I don't want to do anything with rotation. We rotate when we walk. Your hips rotate around your spine as you're walking. So rotation is another movement that is part of our everyday life. So what we're going to do today, I'm going to move this out of the way, and I've just got a good old can of pineapple. Yeah, let's see, it's about 20 ounces, okay? With movements of your spine, you don't want to overload it too much. I see that way too much. I see weightlifters in the gym that are doing things for their spine that they should never do. But what you're going to do, go ahead, Heidi, I'm going to put both hands on the arms of the chair. Good. And she's got a nice box shape. See how her legs are right under her hips, her hands are right underneath her shoulders. So I'm going to give you this can of pineapple. You're going to reach that pineapple toward me. So twist, good. And then you're going to twist out of that, put it up in the air, look up at your hand.
Let me get my hair out of the way.
Like that. So the rotation is here, by the way, not here, okay? So we're trying to get the thoracic or the middle part of your spine to move. And obviously, this is another one that you're going to do, and maybe do it 10 times, just like that. You don't want a lot of heavy.
And this is enough weight.
It's enough weight for your spine, but you are going to need to do that going in both directions.
All
okay?
right.
That makes sense?
All right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Very good. So that's our rotational exercise. Next, we're going to go back to our plank again. So go ahead and use the chair. Now, again, you could do that plank off of the wall like this, okay? And that would be fine. What you don't want to do is sag here. You want to pull everything up, okay? So I'm going to pick on Heidi here for just a second. It looks pretty darn good. I use this stick because it shows you that she's in a nice straight line. Look at that, from her tailbone to her head, right down to her heels. And I'm going to put my hand here again. I want you to draw through your belly button just a little bit. Good, like you're zipping pants that are too small. Okay, we all know what that feels like, okay? If you hold that for your own count to 10 and maybe do that 3 times, that would be a good exercise, okay?
Wow. For your abdomen?
For your abdomen. And I was just mentioning to Heidi that, we can have, we can have bulky muscles, although women don't get bulky muscles unless they lift weights like every day and a lot of weight. But we could have really, really strong arms and legs. They're totally useless unless they've got a good core to work off of. Okay? So your core, what is your core? It's your belly, your back, your butt. Okay? So let's go ahead and do with the ball. Okay? You're going to put your hand here. You're going to step back with one foot, and it's kind of like you're going to turn into the wall. Okay? So for those of you who are used to hearing the word isometric, that's what this is, okay? So we're just gonna put that ball right there, and it could be anything, you know, a sack of beans or whatever. I want you to be a little bit closer to it, just a little bit more comfortable. That's it, good. And if she had a light in her sternum, she's just gonna very slightly turn those shoulders and push into the ball. What do you feel, Heidi?
I feel everything.
Okay.
Very tight right around here.
Okay, so what we're looking for, good, you can stop for a second. So about 5 seconds push is good, but what we're looking for here is stability in the spine. So if the spine is not stable, again, all of our movements just have less, they have less support, okay? And also for anybody that's got some arthritis in their spine or you know, spondylosis or any of those kinds of things, having a spine that is more stable is very often going to save some wear and tear, you know, that cause pain.
So one does it on this side too?
You'll need to do it on both sides.
Do you change the way your feet are?
The foot that is closest to the wall is forward.
Okay, okay, that's a good thing.
And then it's not so much that you are pushing into the ball as that you're trying to turn your body.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, and it just activates your entire, you know, core. In this case, it's more of your rotational muscles, which are called your obliques. So you've probably heard that.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Oh, Jill.
Okay, next we're going for those full balance moves, all right? So, you know, everybody thinks that that they need to be able to stand on one foot. That's the primo, you know, exercise, and it is, okay? It's difficult, but there's a lot of things that we can do before we actually get to the point where we're standing on one leg. And I love this exercise. It's a very expensive paper plate, the cheapest one that you can buy, actually. And I'm going to put that down. I'm going to have Heidi very lightly put her right foot on it because almost all of her weight is on her left side.
Yeah.
So she's going to circle. What's the one thing, Heidi, you're doing that you shouldn't be?
I know what I'm doing. I'm looking down.
Yes, okay. So looking forward at anything that is vertical really does help with your balance. Do that forward and back, please. Forward and back. Forward,
I'm
back.
sorry.
Okay. Yep. Make it go behind you. Mm-hmm. So big. That's it. Good.
I'm looking at that line right
Okay,
over there.
good. And have it go out to the side and in. So if you're having trouble moving the plate, chances are you're putting too much weight on the plate and you have to put more weight on the support leg, okay? So you would do that on both sides, and it doesn't really matter what exactly you do with your foot, but I always kind of follow this pattern of forward and back, side to side, and a circle. And the bigger, the better, okay?
On both legs.
On both legs.
All right.
Okay?
I want to mention something.
Okay.
I told you this earlier. So I was in Jill's classes until October.
Uh-huh.
And then it got cold out. We couldn't exercise it anymore inside. So now it is only, 4, 5 months later. Mm-hmm. My balance, because I haven't done what we used to do in class, is just dramatically changed. And I really, really have noticed it. So this is my prompt to start getting that balance going again so that I'm ready to start.
Good.
Yeah,
Good,
it was
good.
amazing how fast I lost that.
And it is, you know, and that's with all aspects of fitness. You know, again, it's the use it or lose it. It's the cardiovascular, it's strength, it's flexibility, and it's balance. All those things have to be, you know, part of your program. And a lot of times, if you're doing movement-oriented training like what we're doing, a lot of muscles are integrated at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep. All right.
Last thing that we're going to do is another balance exercise. It's as though you're standing on a tightrope or a balance beam. You're going to put one foot in front of the other one and totally lined up as though she was standing on a line. And notice, yep, go ahead. When I ask her to pull her arms in like this, it's totally because it accentuates just the balance. If the arms come out,
it's a whole lot easier.
It's a lot easier. That's why tightrope walkers carry a stick. So anyway, tell me what you're feeling.
Well, I'm a lot more wobbly than I used to be.
Okay.
Both feet are wobbly.
Okay, wobbly is not bad. Okay, wobbly.
I know, you say that.
Wobbly's
but
not
it's
bad.
just a real dramatic difference, Jill.
Where do you feel the work?
Actually, in my butt.
Okay.
And in my thighs.
Perfect. Okay. And I just want to make sure she mentioned that because your butt is your powerhouse and it's part of your core. So when you do something like this, walking involves using your rear end. So the stronger it can be, the better. A lot of ankle work, which is good because, again, we need those ankles to be activated. Let's just change. A lot of times somebody's better at one side than the other.
I am now.
Okay. So heel to toe. And see how that back foot's turned out a little bit? I want her to put it right on the line.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The front one was good. It's the back one.
Is it now straight?
No.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yep.
Okay.
And so if you need to,
this is
now,
maybe do this in a mirror.
Heidi has been doing this before. A lot of people, when they go to this position, will struggle a little bit. It's fine to be next to a wall, okay, until you feel comfortable.
Or a chair.
Or a chair, either one. Because the next thing I'm going to ask her to do, this was a surprise, is I want her to walk that tightrope. So isn't that a progression in difficulty? So once you're comfortable here, you're going to put heel to toe, heel to toe.
Oh my God, Jill.
And that's okay. I don't expect her mind for it not to be perfect. That's awesome. She's doing a good job now. Notice where her eyes are. Good. That's good. And where her face is. So when you're doing something like that, you're always thinking about being led by your belly button. As opposed to your face.
Looking forward, forward. Okay.
Okay, so again, 10
God.
to 12 repetitions of each of these. 15 would be the max. You want to feel somewhat tired at the end. So if you need to add more weight to what you're doing, please do, because realize that that's where the gains come from. Speaking of gains, the more muscle that we have, the easier that it is for us to lose weight, if that is one of your goals, because muscle is much more metabolically active than fat is. So again, if that is one of your goals.
And there's been that COVID-19 funny, but it's not necessarily so funny with everybody.
No.
I think many people have gained weight.
People have been eating more, just bored or whatever,
not
and
exercising.
just gotten used to being docile. I have.
Yep.
You know.
I have too.
Yeah.
I have too. Jill, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Give me in 20 words or less the one thing you would tell any person over the age of 60.
I'd say you've got to move it or lose it. You need to overload your body slightly in order to increase strength. You can only be better. You can only be better by being stronger. It's vital to so many areas of our life. And as I've gotten older, I'm Easter Sunday I turned 64, and I have made strength much more of a priority than I ever did in my life.
All right.
So.
I will do as well. And I want to mention something in our little remaining time. I believe that in May or June, Jill will be starting her classes up again. This time we will be at the community room of City Hall. There's an enormous space so we can socially distance. And I believe there will be a requirement to show proof of vaccination. Okay. But then with that proof, we can start up our classes again. I know I'm going to be there, and I know there's a whole lot of my friends that are going to be joining me. So watch for something in the hub. Send me a email if you want on Hudson North of 60, hctv@gmail.com, and I'll let you know when things are going to be happening, because it's the best class. Thank
Exciting.
you so much. It is.
Fist bump.
It
Boom.
is. It is. Thank you so much for watching. And Jill, thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me again. I appreciate it very much.
All right.